We are just over 3 days away from the new Premier League season. Hope springs eternal. Another title chase. There will be lots of twists, lots of turns, lots of drama. We are here to try and wade through all of those things for you before the season even kicks off. We've got a lot of predictions to make, a lot of things to preview, general banter. We've got a full house today. Let's get to it. How's it? Welcome into the season preview spectacular edition of Loose Cannons. Look at all of these mugs. The only one that doesn't have any facial hair. It's also the oldest person on the panel. Glenn, inside, how are you?
I'm fine. Hello, everybody. Beautiful, comfortable 80 degrees here in my neck of New York. The sun is out, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
And he's sitting inside. Usually he's sitting outside at this time of day.
I didn't feel like it.
All his...
Too many freaking bugs.
I can attest to that for sure. Next to him, all the way from across the pond, he is so far away from us yet, so near and dear to our hearts. LL Cool James Johnstone. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, pleasure to be here as always. Much appreciated. Looking forward to getting to it with you guys.
Yeah, man. Making his long-awaited return to the program, the real Ryan down in the ATL, or is he at the Emirates Stadium somewhere upstairs in like the hospitality lounge? I don't know. I can't tell. Look at that bright, sunny background. How are you?
It's beautiful, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, man, I'm doing good. It's good to see you guys. It's been too long, and I'm excited to see what we all think. And I can't believe we are a few days away from the start of the season. So let's get into it.
It's like somebody say Mufasa just so I can get like chills. Say it again. And of course, next to me, you guys know who he is. I don't know. What number do you wear when you play soccer?
When I was growing up, it was 8. Then I changed to 12 when I got into high school, and 11 now.
So he's all of those numbers in your program, but he's probably number one in your hearts. My co-defendant, Ryan, with the backward hat, looking good, buddy. How are things?
Good. I'm excited to predict everything right, like I always do.
Yeah, we were gonna take a trip down memory lane and go back to last year's season preview to see what we got right. But the only thing that anybody needs to know from last year is that I predicted Aston Villa to finish 4th, and that Big Gabby would be the unsung hero, which he was. So I was basically perfect for the preview show last year. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. So we've got a lot of topics to get to here. We're going to start with I don't want to save all of the good, juicy ones for last. We'll get some of the good ones out of the way with first. So I thought we would start with top 4. And James, I'm going to start with you on this, but let me ask you first: Are there any surprises? Do you have anyone that is, that you just say, oh, that one's out of left field? Because I kind of feel like the Aston Villa one last year for me was a bit out of left field, but I'm going to beat this. This horse is dead. I'm going to beat it all day. Just fair warning to all of you.
For me, it could be a surprise to some in the positions that I've got them in, but okay. I think the 4 teams shouldn't really be a shock to anybody, because to me, in my opinion, if my football opinion is worth anything, I still think these are the 4 best teams in the league, regardless of what other teams do up until the window to now. I still think these 4 are the best 4 in the league.
So give us the 4. Is it the way it not necessarily any particular order, by the way.
Yeah.
When we give the top 4, just for everyone's knowledge, because we don't want to give anything away till the very, very end. But the same 4 that, if I may, the 4 that finished in the top 4 last year.
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to get through that one then pretty quickly. Does anyone disagree with it?
It's funny, when I first started doing this, my one thing that I said was Villa is going to drop. They're not going to be as good. They're going to have trouble dealing with the extra games. They're going to have a big slide. But then you look at the competition. You look at Tottenham. You look at United. You look at Newcastle. And I'm just like, shit. I think Villa are better than all of these teams. I think there is something really wrong in all of those teams I just mentioned that can compete for that 4th spot. So yeah, I don't have a 4th team yet. I'm gonna let you guys talk, and I'll probably come to a decision, because I was like convinced Villa were gonna 100% drop back, but like, who's gonna take the 4th spot? Like, I don't trust any of those teams to do that. So yeah, that's how my thought.
Glenn, City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Villa.
Well, I can see why Ryan is having a difficult time with 4th place, because for me, from 4th to 7th is going to be battled for all year. As far as what it took a while for me to come up with this. So for me, I finally came down to 2 finalists for number 4 between Manchester United and Newcastle. I'm going to go with United. Manchester United 4th, Liverpool 3rd.
Whoa. Easy.
Jumping the gun, my guy.
You really are, man. Yeah, no.
Well, what the F was the question? You guys are all over the place.
I said top 4, but no particular order, because we don't want to give away anything. Until
all right.
The team's not the numbers. The team's not the numbers.
All right. Eat a bag of dicks. Fine, go.
Eat a bag of dicks. I haven't heard that one for a while. Glenn, this is.
I definitely told you to eat a bag of dicks in Philly at one point.
I don't think you told me to eat a bag of dicks. You may have just said.
Remember anything from Philly, Ryan?
Real Ryan, what you got?
So we already know the 3, and it's funny because Glenn had one of the ones I was thinking, and I honestly do think it's going to be Newcastle. It was hard to come to that decision, but I just feel like with no Europe, I think Tonali's coming back. I don't think they're going to lose Bruno right now. No one's coming in for Isak yet. So, I mean, I feel like on paper it looks still strong, and with just outside of the cuffs, the 1 game a week thing, because I think what happened in Newcastle last year might happen to Villa.
Yeah. Sorry, I do remember that. I did tell TJ to eat a bag of dicks. Sorry, I thought it was you, Tanner. I thought it was you. It's fine. I told to be fair, I told him and Hot Connor to both eat, like split the bag in half of dicks.
I have a story about Hot Connor for you, by the way.
All right, guys. No, you're losing your train of thought. I'm the one that does that on this show. Come on, guys, keep going.
Listen to the old stoner trying to keep us on track here. Real Ryan, sorry, we interrupted you. Go ahead, finish, please.
No. I mean, I said what I need to say. I mean, I think it'll be Newcastle, just with no Europe and Tonali coming back. Bruno's still there, Isak's still there. I mean, on paper they're still strong. I think what happened to Newcastle last year probably happened to Villa. Just the extra games and Unai and managing expectations when like he's supposed to do something. We kind of know how that goes. So
can I just say something? I forgot to say this before because I lost my train of thought because I was answering the wrong question. I understand why people look at shut up. I understand why some people are high on Villa, but I am very low on Villa's manager. And I think anytime that I would not put my trust in him. He's a good manager. I just don't think he's whatever. That's it. I'm sorry.
I'm just going to go. Yeah. I actually wrote down Newcastle. I like Newcastle. The reason why I didn't really like them is because I was very nervous about Eddie Howe leaving, and also the owners that took over Newcastle are leaving. The people that kind of were injecting the money into the club. Maybe they weren't the owners. They were like high up in the club. They're leaving. So I'm a little nervous how they're going to buy players, but then they still have Gamarsh. They have Isak. a player that I really like that no one really talks about. He led the league in goals coming off the bench is Harvey Barnes. I'm a big Harvey Barnes guy. I wanted him at Arsenal for a while. I think he's a very underrated player. Another team that doesn't get talked about, who I think is going to have a very surprising season. I think they're going to start off really bad, but I think they're going to come later on. It's West Ham. I don't know if Fulkrug is the signing for them. They kind of had a similar striker that they, funny enough, signed from Dortmund in Sebastian Haller. Didn't really work out for them. But the fact that they have a striker, they have that pinpoint, and they can move a player who I think is a very underrated player in the Premier League in Jared Bowen. They can move him to the wing, and Jared Bowen is a way better player off the wings, and he was doing bits for them when he was playing striker for them. So I think a move like that is going to help this team out, and I just think that they have the pieces to succeed. Now, fourth place I think is definitely a stretch for them, but I think they're going to 100% surprise some teams this season.
Yeah. Love that.
So did you give up? So who's your fourth?
I fell on Newcastle.
Okay.
And can't forget about Aaron Gordon too. I mean, they're kind of.
I don't like him though, so yeah, no.
You don't have to like him. He's not bad.
No, I know. I don't want him to succeed. I want Harvey Barnes to succeed. I like Isak. I guess I don't want Prediger March to succeed either. Yeah, I don't know.
The thing for me, and I agree with James, is when I look at all of the other team, Newcastle, Glenn, going with United is whew. I like the boldness of it. I just don't think you're muted. You're muted. You're still muted.
I was just going to say, I don't think it's that bold.
Yeah, okay, fair. I just, like James said, man, you look at every other team that you would put in that spot, Villa are better than them. And the Unai Emery thing that Glenn brought up, it's like, but he got them there last year. I can't imagine.
Tottenham's a big pile of heaping shit.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with it?
I'm sorry, Real Ryan. Real Ryan, like I shouldn't have said that. Go ahead.
I just real quick, since you brought it up, I'm kind of curious as to where you guys think they would finish.
Who?
The shitbags.
Dude, it's honestly, it's literally from like 4th to like 8th. It's just going to be a dumpster fire of teams. I don't really.
No, I like that.
I don't like any of them. Well, so I can say this because I'm quoting a movie, but it's at the end of Waiting where the guy's saying it's like being the smartest guy with Down syndrome. That's kind of that 4th to 7th place. It's like they're all not good, but you're better than the rest, I guess. But it's funny too because before coming on this show, I had Chelsea. I was like convinced Chelsea. But then like I said, I've changed my 4th to 7th a bunch of times since pretty much the end of the season when I already started doing predictions. But I think all these teams have just such, I don't want to say obvious flaws, but just things that are definitely going to hold them back. And the one thing I will say, I don't think Glenn's United pick is that crazy because I consider United, but they're just, and the only reason why I consider them was because they don't have European football. So I'm like, they could focus on these
part
games,
of the equation,
and I could see some of these players stepping up. But then I realized their manager is Ten Hag. They're going to be shit. They're not going to be good. I could see that. I could see a world where they finish ahead of a team like Villa because, like I said, I don't think Villa's bad. My problem with Villa is they're going to have so much trouble dealing with the extra games. And I don't think Unai Emery is prepared. I don't think Unai Emery is going to be ready for Champions League because let's face it, he's not a Champions League manager. I just think they're going to just struggle with the games. I mean, that's just what it comes down to. And I feel there were instances last season where they did have injuries, but they weren't, as far as like long stretches of the season, they had a lot of their players. And I could see the injury bug getting to them this season, and because of the more games they play.
Yeah, James, does that factor in for you at all with this?
I think it plays a part, yeah. Because we all know what Unai Emery is like when he has multiple competitions. We all speak from experience, so we understand that. It's just, again, on paper, with everybody, when I looked at it and had to do this yesterday, I still think they're better than the other sides. And Man United, they've got Thursday, Sunday. Tottenham have got Thursday, Sunday. Again, speaking from experience of a team that had Europa League football and then had to deal with the Premier League on top, it's not good. It's sadly, because it's a worse competition, you travel further, so you have to go to bumfuck Azerbaijan to play somebody compared to playing someone in Spain or France. So that's just how it is. And I think those squads can't adapt to that. And also, I think as well, Unai Emery's got quite a good core there at Villa that will run through brick walls for him. Whereas the other two sides, I still think, a bit like slightly sometimes Arsenal's Achilles heel is, we're too emotional at times. And I think that obviously Tottenham have never had a winning mentality in the 33 years that I've been alive. And Manchester United's winning mentality that they used to have, God knows where that is, because that hasn't been around since about 2013, 2012. So
real quick about Unai Emery. Look, I try to be fair when I talk about him and Aston Villa, but what I see them going through right now at Aston Villa, do you guys remember when Unai was our manager? And I don't remember if it was an 18 or 20 something game unbeaten streak, and we really didn't look that good for a lot of those games. That's what I think they're going through right now. We're under Champions League. Okay, when you're out in the group stage, I'm sorry. All right, that's it. I'm done. I'm done.
All right.
I'm done dissing them.
I pretty much agree with everything that James said. I think they will go out of the Champions League in the whatever we're calling this now, because it's no longer.
Oh, that's right. It's not right. I forgot.
Right. But I don't think they will make it to the knockout stages. I just don't think they will. But then once they're done there, I think they have enough, like James said, with that core to propel them through for the rest of the season. And let's face it, they're still going to have 5 months to work with after going out of Champions League, because now there's no relegation to Europa League. It's once you're out, you're out. That's it. You're done. So, for them, play, get through it, see how you do. And I think the more games they end up playing, if they do get into the knockout rounds of the Champions League, I think that'll take a toll. So that would be the only caveat to my pick of picking them in the top 4. Ryan, you kind of gave West Ham an honorable mention. Real Ryan, do you want to give anybody an honorable mention to your top 4?
No, I thought what Ryan was saying about West Ham was good. I think they're going to run it close. I think they'll finish 5th, 6th, 7th range. I think they've done good business, like quietly. I'm seeing the pieces that they're putting together, and it looks good. I was with him too with Chelsea. I think I had them originally, and then I'm just like, I'm not going to let them get away with this and finish 4th. This is this is unbelievable. The players are signing and what they're doing. I just don't know how they're going to all make it
work. They had
work.
such a good end. And this is going to sound even crazier. I think if they kept Pochettino, I probably would have kept him 4th. I don't. Yes, he was a. People compare. Arteta's Pep's prodigy, and now this guy's coming in. He was under Pep too, so he's going to be. I'm not falling for that. I don't think. Just because you played under Pep, you're going to be an all-star manager. So you kind of have to wait and see. So that I think the new manager, is going to be very interesting to see how they play.
If he's got new players, Chelsea are my honorable mention, because there's a lot of talent there.
Yeah,
I mean, there's.
Got to blend. Got to blend.
It's hard to have a lot of talent when you have 60 players on your roster.
Well, I was getting ready to say that too. It's like they're just but.
Todd Bowley thought he bought an American football team.
There is a lot of talent, and if the manager can bring them together, I would say they get my honorable mention. So, James, got an honorable mention for us?
Yeah, you guys are mentioning West Ham. I put them in my predictions that I did yesterday. I put them 12th. I do not. I did not rate this manager at all. When he was at Wolves,
Yeah,
he was not that guy. And I think he is such a huge departure from what West Ham had before. And I think the fans want it because they think, oh, he's Spanish. We're going to play this amazing, expansive, incredible football. This guy ain't that guy. And I think by the time they change it, because I do believe that he's probably one of the favourites again to get sacked because he gets the hump and then he refuses to do things and leaves. I think they're going to be too far behind to catch up to the top six and everything else like that. I mean, I think West Ham, their fans baffle me. They had, okay, maybe it wasn't the style of football they liked, but they had a manager there that won them a European trophy, which they, never probably would have dreamed of winning in their lifetime. They got to a semi-final of the Europa League the year before. Okay, nearly got relegated in the process, but he still got them to a semi-final of the Europa League the year before. And yet they're moaning, they've got an entitlement, West Ham, which I do not understand. They've never won anything, they've never won a league. Even when they were relegated, every time they've been promoted is either via the playoffs or finishing second. They've never won the domestic league that they've been in their entire history. Yet they go on like they're this humongous, gigantic club. Their stadium is the stockroom of Forever 21. And yet they go on like they're this team. It baffles me. So that's one of my big shocks. The other one for me is I think Crystal Palace this season will get top 9. They could even push even further because I think Glasner actually is a very good manager.
Yeah.
And I think if they keep Eze, I think they've got quite a good little nucleus of players there that can do the business for them.
I wanted him for Germany.
James, that was freaking awesome. But we as Arsenal supporters are not allowed to call anybody crazy fans. I'm sorry. If maybe we have vastly different timelines, James, but no. Craziest stuff from our fellow supporters. Wow.
Yeah. I've got people telling me that Adingra's as good as Mane at the moment. So I totally understand that there are crazy fans in every group.
Okay.
All right. What do we?
Oh, this is. BG said that he might. Be out.
So next we're doing is bottom three.
Go ahead.
Go. No,
I wanted to bring something up because when we were talking about surprises earlier, I really wanted to mention them, but we have so many people on the panel today. I don't want to talk too much. I think Fulham guaranteed they're not going to be in a relegation fight this year if VSR stays healthy. I like everything that they've done. So I would like to give an honorable mention to surprise as Fulham.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to get too into it with a pending betting show coming up, but I'll be making a future bet for them to finish in the top half of the standings. And yeah, I think they're a good team. They signed Castagna from Leicester. They got Brozier from Chelsea on loan. They got a center back from Villarreal who I hear is like an up and coming guy. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be amazing. I
just think they're going to be solid, especially.
I love ESR, so I don't want to be super biased and be like, yeah, they're gonna finish fourth. But yeah, I think they're going to surprise some people. I think, if their team can stay healthy, I think they're going to play some good football, and I think they're going to be a fun team to watch, kind of like a Luton except better. So yeah, it'll be definitely very interesting to see Fulham play.
I would love to hear what James and Ryan think about Fulham or ESR or anything that we just said.
I mean, it's sad, isn't it? I feel like the thing with him has always been if he gets consistent game time, he will put up numbers. So I'm not going to be surprised this year if he does well, and I think he will. So I think another thing too is that just might be his level, right? Like I think that's maybe what we found out. He couldn't get game time on a team that's trying to win the Champions League and trying to win the Premier League, but he can get time with a mid-level team, and that's what he will get. And so I think he'll put some numbers up, and I'll be happy for him. So that's all I really have to say. It sucks, it's sad, but I think we found out what he is and maybe where his ceiling is, unfortunately. So
I will say 2 goals in 2 games for Fulham in a Fulham shirt.
James, what do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think they're not going to finish below the top 10. I think they're definitely, if they're not going to be 10th, they're going to be higher than that. I'm not a huge Marco Silva guy, but
Yeah.
I think that the players that are there, again, they're good enough to pull him through. I think they've got quite a good, solid team there, and they're looking at potentially getting Anderson from Crystal Palace back. I know they had him on loan a few years back. They're looking at signing him as a centre half. And again, he's one of them for me. I think he's one of the most underrated centre halves in the league, especially in terms of a ball playing centre half. I know defensively he might not be up to scratch, but in terms of playing the ball, I think he's fantastic. And if you've got a player like that can get it into an Iwobi or into a Smith Rowe, who can then get it onto somebody else, then I'd watch them. They like you said earlier, they're going to be exciting. I think I know a lot of Arsenal fans are going to be watching them for the Smith Rowe factor, but I think just in general, a lot of neutrals will go, do you know what? Fulham, they're quite entertaining.
Yeah. Have you guys ever been to their ground? I really wanted to go, but I only had 4.5 days in the UK.
I was going to go a few years ago when there was rumours that AEW was going to do a show there for the wrestling. So I wasn't going to go for football. I was going to go for that. But no, apparently it's incredible, Glenn. I don't know. It's one of the best away days, apparently, if you can go.
I'm definitely going to do it next time. Yeah, it's definitely on the list. Anyway, there's BG. All right, we killed some time, BG.
I want to know who brought up Fulham and who stole my thunder.
Me. Oh, I didn't know you were going to bring them up.
Yeah, sure was. And now
he's in the. It's in BG's bottom 3.
Guess what? Guess what, Glenn? You're fired.
If they're in your bottom 3, you don't have to fire me. I'm leaving.
Wait, James, who did you say was a good away day?
Fulham.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, it's meant to be a really nice ground. And then I don't know if the Arsenal fans still do it, but I know a few years ago they used to hire the boats out to go along the Thames. So it'd just be, there'd just be like an open boat with the bar. And then, I remember years and years ago seeing the Mesut Ozil chant with just people severely, severely wasted. And I was very scared. I looked at it and was like, don't really trust you guys being severely wasted on a boat or a barge, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, and this was back in the day when they still had the Michael Jackson statue there. That's now sadly gone. If you're the fan of the King of Pop, he is no longer at Fulham, I'm afraid. But yeah.
Why was there a Michael Jackson statue at Fulham?
So Fulham were owned by Mohammed Al Fayed, who owns Harrods. And Michael Jackson was his favorite singer. And his whole thing was, if you don't like Michael Jackson, then you don't like music. That was his excuse for him being there.
Huh.
You know how other teams have statues of footballers outside the ground that have contributed. Yeah, it was like, come to Fulham and see Michael Jackson.
The King of Pop, baby.
Yeah, great left foot Michael Jackson had. The wonderful left foot Michael Jackson.
What kicked off the moonwalk for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't. I did kind of catch a little bit of what you guys were saying about Fulham. They're going to be really exciting to watch. James, I think you just convinced me to pull the trigger on coming over there in December, because we get United in the midweek and then we get Fulham away, and then it's early December. And then the following week, we have a Champions League game, possibly at home. So, but I think the Fulham away day thing, I think you just convinced me to pull the trigger on this trip. So I might be booking some airfare later today. Yeah. So we've got our top 4 in no particular order, with a little bit of honorable mention scattered in there. Let's go to the bottom half of the table, lad, shall we? And talk about relegation in the bottom 3. Wah, wah. Real Ryan, I'll start with you. Bottom 3, who you got?
So Leicester, Forest, Ipswich. I mean, I think with the points deductions, it could be impossible for them to climb out of that. It's not like a points deduction to a big team that can overcome that. So, I mean, it was just pretty straightforward. I mean, if those don't happen, I mean, I could throw Southampton in there, but those are just the obvious 3 for me, with probably what's coming down, the barrel for them. So, which is unfortunate, knowing that that's probably going to be their fate. But, it's as simple as that for me.
Yeah. Glenn?
When I knew you were asking this question, I thought of 3 right off the top of my head. And then I went to, what the table will be, and I looked at everybody again and reanalyzed it. Southampton, Leicester, Ipswich. Same reasons that everybody else is going to say. This was fairly easy for me.
Okay. James?
Yeah, so I've done Southampton, Leicester, and Nottingham Forest. Reason being to that is, again, bit of a stat brain here for you guys. This 97 season and the last season are the only 2 times in the Premier League history that all 3 teams that come up got relegated. So that very rarely happens that all 3 that come up go down. But also, again, like Ryan said, at the moment, I've done this without even points deductions being a thing. But I still believe, without these point deductions, that these 3 are the worst teams.
Yeah. Okay. OG.
I have the same thing as James. I penned in Leicester and Forest. Yeah, maybe because of the point deduction. And then the third team is really, for me, it's in between Southampton and Ipswich. And I think I'm more, I guess excited is not the word. I like their signings more than Southampton. And I think the way Ipswich plays football, it's more likely that they'll stay up than a Southampton.
I have Leicester, Forest, and Southampton going down. And the only reason that I don't have Ipswich going down is because I don't want them to go down, because I want to be able to continue to say, oh, no, the answer was Ipswich clams. Glenn, please tell me that you know that movie, because you're the only one here.
No, I do. I was obsessing on my camera, but yes, I know that movie.
It's a Bible question because he did not know what Deuteronomy was. Running Scared with Gregory Hines and Billy Crystal. It's an 80s movie, and it is tremendous. Billy Crystal is hysterical in that movie. I implore all of you to go watch Running Scared tonight, and then you will get the Ipswich Clams reference. But no, in all seriousness, like James said, it is extremely rare that all 3 promoted teams are also the following season's relegated teams from the Premier League. And the reason that I picked Ipswich is exactly what I just said. But I didn't want to pick all 3 of the teams coming up. And yeah, the points deduction thing with Forest that's coming down the pike, I think, is really, really going to hurt them. Isn't Everton supposed to get another one too?
Yeah, worse than the one they got this year as well.
Yeah. I mean,
because you get it if you lose money in a certain accounting period of time, and they've lost even more since then. So they're going to get hit even worse.
Wow.
I did not know that. Didn't I know
I
that?
mean,
Everton is as much as I'm taking away how much I hate Scousers and trying to be nice, here. Everton, it would be a shame if they go down.
It would be.
Because,
I agree.
I don't.
But they are such a mess, and unfortunately, they can only blame themselves.
Can I just say, and maybe this is naive, it really is maddening to me how they pick on the smaller teams, but meanwhile, City is just skating around and I think the last I heard, and I could be wrong, is, oh yeah, we'll decide what the hell we're going to do with them next year. But meanwhile, they're just banging points down on all the, other teams that are not City that attract so many television viewers. Arrgh!
Well, I think that's because City admitted or didn't admit, right? Like Everton and them admitted they made an error, so that's why they're getting what they're getting.
See, I was being naive. Not the first time, not going to be the last time. Hi, everybody.
Like Ryan said, Everton, Forest, and they've complied with the charge. They've provided all the evidence that they need. And Everton's thing, which I guess in a way is good, but in a way is bad, is that they've gone, well, yeah, we're doing it because you've left us, like the parameters that you've set are just unrealistic for what we've got as a club. So no wonder we failed it, because we wouldn't survive if we didn't. We're going to keep failing it because we can't survive in the current conditions that you set. So it's a bit of a crap predicament, but does make me think though that if Usmanov and Mashiri ever did come in at Arsenal, like a lot of people wanted, would that be us, or would it be different?
Ooh.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, you can't get away with that.
The thing with City, if you'll humor me on this real quick, also is the fact that there are 115 of these charges that and they're not all the same. They're 32 of this and 17 of this and then 57 of this. It's what City
the majority of it is non-compliance, mate. It's literally the fact that they will not. They will not supply. Yeah, they just refuse to supply what is needed.
Right.
That's the main.
But they're investigating every single charge, and they will not make an announcement on anything, at least to the public anyway, until the spring, which is literally before I sat down in the chair to come on here. A thing came across on The Athletic that there was a statement made by someone to Sky Sports that nothing will come down until the spring on this. And I mean, let me just real quick, because it is a hot button topic. We haven't really talked about it. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it.
What's a hot button topic?
The Manchester City 115.
Oh, good. We're moving on. Excellent.
No. I want to ask a real quick question on it. I don't want necessarily an explanation on it, but just in a few words, if City are somehow exonerated of all of this, if nothing happens, how does that affect your fandom, your support for the sport? Not Arsenal. It doesn't affect that. Will you simply look at it and say this is just horseshit? They're just buying the league, and now everybody knows it and nobody cares.
Let me go first. Okay,
Okay.
All right. First of all,
like a goddamn kid. I know the answer. Pick me.
No, because I'll be quick, and this is something everybody's passionate about. So I rather
get
just
your wife on this program and ask her.
I don't want my wife. I had enough of her already. Please. So listen. I have to have respect for the suits of the Premier League before anything. I know if things are fair, okay, we're gonna get 1 or 2 league titles because they are gonna, they're just gonna decimate City like they deserve to be legally at the end of this year, and they'll probably be like, Arsenal, you finished 2 points behind that. Now you're champs. Here's a trophy. But I just can't stand it. That's all. I don't expect the Premier League's doing a new thing this year with referees. I actually wrote it down. Where is it? They have a website. This is for referees after games. The Premier League Match Center, where you can get an explanation of every single match decision by an official. And I'm like, okay, fine, that's great, but who's going to stop them from making all the friggin' mistakes they've been making? It's like that's a nice step there, but F you, these officials and this buddies, I'm sick of it. I'm so sick of it. Get out.
Okay. Real Ryan?
I mean,
will it affect you at all? I guess is the question.
I think from the beginning, I really wasn't expecting them to get punished. Really, I mean,
okay,
it's just going to be hard, I think, for the Premier League to do that when it's just like, this is your star student. This is punishing the team that's won the most title straight and is won a Champions League, and now we're just going to say all those things are basically worthless because they cheated. So I just think they're going to have a hard time doing it. But yeah, I'm going to feel some type of way. I don't think I would as much if Arsenal wasn't as good as we are now, but now it definitely stings after these past 2 seasons and running them so close, right? So
yeah,
I don't know. They're not going to take their titles away, right? They're not going to give them to us. So it's just like, I don't know. I don't know what I want to happen. I mean, yeah, send them down to League 2, but like, are they going to do that? No. So I don't know.
OG.
I wasn't even paying attention. I really don't care.
This is the world we live in. The rich get away with everything.
Yeah, it sucks. I grew up playing football I've been playing for 30 years, and I'm gonna keep watching. It's not an answer that people want to hear, but it sucks. But
no,
yeah,
I
don't really give a shit. Like, yeah, it sucks. I feel cheated to an extent, but I love watching the game. So
who doesn't?
James?
Yeah, I think it's a really, really interesting question, because I don't believe that they're going to be exonerated, but I don't think it will be the punishment to the level of what everybody believes it should be. So it's really tough. And I guess you'll have the 2 sides of the coin that's very much like you guys of, I will watch regardless because I love the sport and I love my club, and et cetera, et cetera. But then there'll be the other part in my head that goes, if all of us knew all along that they could do this and get away with it, why didn't we? And I know not all of us have the level of money, But why didn't we all just, why didn't we all just do this? Why didn't we all just fiddle the books, everything else like that, buy who we want to buy, sell who we want to sell, make up companies to then fund the club to give us more money positively on PS? Why didn't we all just do this? Because we all had integrity and class compared to this club, which isn't a bad thing. But at the same point, it makes me think, what would stop someone else from doing this again? Now, I'm not saying Wrexham are on the level of Man City, and I don't believe they probably will do. But say if Wrexham keep getting promoted like they are, and with the money that they got pumping in, what would stop a Wrexham trying to get away with this for a few years and seeing if they could do it? It just, to me, it's very, very tough. And I mean, you guys talking about how you're doing this betting thing, it's very exciting. A lot of the bookmakers in England have Man City as one of their favourites to go down. Now, they don't normally do that unless there's something, the market's never that way swayed unless they've got information. They're about 15-1 to be relegated, Man City. Now, that is ridiculously good odds for Manchester City to be relegated. So I think there's definitely something on the cards.
Can I just say, a lot of times betting is swayed by that and the odds, and if you just take it without that, without a possible penalty at the end of the season, Manchester City's odds of being relegated, God, it's got to be astronomical, if you put a bet down. So, to me, that's just an indication of what people are thinking. As far as I agree with everybody else, by the way, I went on a rant, but I don't think they're really going to get punished. I just wanted to say that, and now I'll shut up.
I think the biggest thing for me is like Ryan said, I played sports. We all played sports when we were kids, and we're all competitive. We all have that competitive drive in us, and we want to win. And for me, as much as I love watching Arsenal, I think what it would come down to for me is if we're basically just saying now that you can do this, that if you have enough money, you can open up your checkbook, go to the Premier League or the FA and say, what's it going to take? We want the trophy. We don't really want to compete for it. So how much money will it take? We're the ones with the biggest balls because we're offering you the money. We're doing the one thing that no one else is going to do. We're going to offer you the check. We're going to hand you the blank check. I just need you to tell me how much you wrote it out for, so I know how much money to have in the account so the check don't bounce. And at that point, that's when I completely lose, because now there's no point.
Okay, I have to say this, all right? The Premier League is the #1 sports league in the world out of every effing sport, okay? It's the biggest money generator. Billionaires are now buying the clubs like toys to play with, okay? Fine, whatever. But one thing the Premier League will not do is slit its own throat by letting something like that continue. They just take their sweet-ass time fixing problems.
Richard Masters, who is the CEO of the Premier League, he come out today and said the hearing will start next month.
Yeah.
And then it will probably conclude in the spring. Me thinking that the hearing is starting next month makes me think if they're going to get a points deducted, which Man City probably already know and fear, they want it done as early as possible so they can make those points up.
So you're trying to make them up.
Exactly. They're like, do it to don't. I mean, in an ideal world, you would love for Man City to get the points deducted in the May just before they're probably going to win their 5th title. But that's probably not how it's going to go. But yeah, I definitely think that something is going to happen. And as well as this, I don't think a lot of teams in the league fear Man City. I think they look at it before they play. They're like, we're probably going to have none of the ball, and they're going to, kick 7 colours of shit out of us. So let's just get out of here without being embarrassed. Now, the way they've acted and the way that they even tried to sue the league last season, I think more clubs are going to be like, F you guys, we're going to try it. Whatever it takes, we're going to try and beat you guys. And I think that's going to be a difference maker next season as well. I think more teams are going to be, nah, fuck, man. Even if they don't have a rivalry per se with them, they're going to be like, nah, fuck these guys.
I want somebody like Southampton to just run everybody. Or just be like, you know what? Fuck it. We're gonna win in the court of public opinion. We may not win on the pitch, and we might have to finish this game with 4 players, but we're going to kick you all over Manchester or Southampton, wherever the game might be played. Real quick, this just in from goal, Basically, an explanation. Bullet points: the hearing will last around 10 weeks. An independent commission is expected to take some time before announcing its decision. It was moved up to the middle of September, brought forward from an original start date of November due to the league's desire to see the case resolved as quickly as possible. Any punishment is likely to be delayed as they will be expected to appeal the decision. All sides hope to conclude the matter by the end of 2025. Those are the major bullet points from this.
Yeah, I know you want to move on, but the other elephant in the room is a lot of the money that comes into the Premier League for other clubs is from foreign TV, and a lot of that money does come from the UAE. So this now becomes a political issue because people within the UAE will be going to the British government. If we get sanctioned here, we're going to pull the fund into your sport and everything. And that will then in turn mess up. I think the Premier League's got to be brave here and go, let's take the hit potentially from the UAE withdrawing money and everything else, just so that we can have, and again, someone's put it in here and I do agree with them. Every team is doing this in some form. I don't necessarily think we've got a clean league, but I think it will be a cleaner league. I mean, for me, I keep going on about it because I've watched it so many times. I love it. Icarus, the Netflix documentary, you guys, have you seen that one about the peds and everything in sport with the cycling?
Yeah, it was good. That was good.
Yeah. It's one of the best films I've ever seen. You think you're watching a film that's this, and then it just pendulum swings into that, and you're like, oh my god, my head. It's amazing. It was like the first time I watched Memento. I was like, this is unbelievable. But I feel that it's going to be really, really tough. I think you just got to be brave. I think you got to be brave here, the Premier League, and I think they will. I think something's definitely happening. It might not be to the level that we want or expect, but there's definitely something that's going to happen.
I'll say that this is going to be it. And then we are going to move on. Because I do feel like we could take up a whole week of shows talking about this topic. I agree. I do not think that the punishment will fit the crime, so to speak. But I also don't want things done retroactively. I don't. They won the trophies. That's fine. Like I don't want the trophy taken away, and all of a sudden I don't want a trophy that way. So what they've won already, they've won. This is punishment going forward. And if they're docked points, fine. What I would really like to see happen is there be some sort of financial impact for the way that they conduct business with transfers and player salaries and things like that, where the league says, we're not going to send you down. We're not going to take points away from you. Starting next year, you're going to be operating on a 10th of the budget that you've been operating on. And we are going to approve or disapprove every deal that you make from a financial standpoint and get people in to monitor that and just say, okay, now you've done it this way for so long. We're kicking you back to the Stone Age now in terms of how you operate financially. So keep them up in the Premier League because they'll still be a draw. And fuck it, make it interesting. See how good of a manager Pep really is when he can't just go and buy 7 superstars to fill out his roster. Let's see how good of a manager he really is. Because whatever. Anyway, all right, moving on. So we've done top 4 in no particular order. We have the relegation. I think the one team we all agreed on was Leicester. In that, I think we all said Leicester and Forest. I think the only other difference was either Southampton.
No, it was Leicester and Southampton. Forest was the other one.
Yeah. Biggest surprise. Biggest surprise. And this could be a good thing or a bad thing, but we're going to do it Arsenal player wise. Who do you think would be the biggest surprise? OG, I'm going to start with you. It was your topic. What? You're muted. You're muted.
I have 4 answers. So I was just gonna pick what people didn't pick.
All right. Real Ryan. Do you have a surprise for us? And I don't care what it is. It can be good, it can be bad. I don't care what it is. Just give me something that you have a thought of might happen. Let's go. Let's get weird.
I think there's a surprise that we might get the Gabby Jesus from 2 years ago, and how that season started before he got hurt and before the World Cup. I think everyone want a striker so bad, and he wasn't looking great last year, just dealing with. And look, I'm not a professional athlete, but I tore my ACL. And it takes a lot of time to manage. And I think when you're dealing with that knee, the comeback just takes some time. So I think now that he's gone through that and he's taken the extra year and a half or so to kind of overcome it, he looks fit, he looks sharp. I think he could be a big surprise. That's one that I'm hopeful for, but that's one I think we'll see.
James, I'm going to come to you next.
Okay, so is this in terms of just Arsenal in general, or is this a player, or is
it is?
Sorry,
I would say Arsenal, but probably. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be a player; it can be the club. But I would say Arsenal, and I'll give no more parameters than that.
Okay, cool. Okay, I can get away with what I want to say now. Then, thank you. I think surprise-wise, I believe Arsenal are going to sign an attacker that is going to turn people's heads. I know there's a lot of negativity at the moment, but I've got an eternal optimism that we are going to pull someone out the bag, and as well as us going, oh, holy shit, other fans from other teams are going to go, oh, God, he's at Arsenal, really? Like, we're going to absolutely rattle some people with this player that we end up signing. Now, don't ask me who that player is going to be, but I think we're going to get someone of note that people are going to go, oh, fuck.
I like it. All right. Glenn, what you got for me?
Well, my surprise is I went between two choices, and I only decided a few hours ago, because yesterday I was looking at the top clubs in the world, and Arsenal were ranked 5th. Only City in the Premier League were ranked ahead of us, and I'm like, you know what? I think we're going to win the Champions League this year. No one's expecting it. I think we're going to do it. We got the squad, we got the depth, but that's not my surprise. And I'm not saying we're going to win the Champions League. My surprise is I think Martinelli's going to have an outstanding season and shut up some of these doubters. That's it.
I like it. Oh, sorry. You can go.
My surprise is not as optimistic.
Yeah. As it always is.
I think
that's actually not a surprise.
I think we will regress a little bit this year in terms of points. But I think league wide that will happen also. So we will not achieve as many points as we did last year, but I think league wide that will be the case. I think everything kind of moves more toward the middle a little bit. I think you'll have 3 probably really bad teams. Again, the 3 teams we all talked about being down around the bottom. You could even have 4 or 5, really, if we factor in Everton to this mix, and if they get hammered with a points deduction, you could have 4 or 5 teams that are really out of it by November. But I think everyone kind of comes back to the middle of the pack a little bit. I do think that the top 3 will create separation. I think we'll see a lot of what we saw last year. A separation of the top 3, and then 4, maybe 5, and then the middle of the pack, and then the bottom. So not overly pessimistic. I just think I think the league is there's more parity in the league with a lot of the teams that are always here. I would say from 4 to 12. It could be a crapshoot as to who finishes where from 4 to 12.
Did I tell you guys? Did I tell you guys I negotiated with the wife for 4:15, but then I have to leave at 4:15. Just so you know.
Okay, got it.
Good to know.
But yeah, that's my surprise. I think everyone thinks that we're just going to continue this path of more points and more points and more points and more points. And I think somewhere reality has to set in that we're going to peak at some point. The core of this team is going to peak at some point. I don't think that peak is here yet, but but I think the parity in the league brings us back a little bit. I think we'll drop some points where we don't expect to, but I think everyone will do that a little bit more often this season. So, look, it can't be all fucking butterflies and fairy dust. All right.
Yes, we know a dark cloud follows you everywhere.
I need a little hellfire and brimstone here. All right. Ryan, what you got? OG.
Well, Jesus was one of them. Martinelli was one of them. To be fair, I don't think they're. I think with a lot of people with Martinelli, I don't know if that's really a surprise. I just think Martinelli is good. He got hurt. He hurt his foot, and I don't think he never came back from that. So saying Martinelli is a surprise, I don't know if that's really a surprise, but I still wrote him down anyway. I'm going to go with, and people could take this as positive. People could take it as negative, which Tanner will take. BG will take it as negative. That I know. I think Zinchenko is going to play a lot more than people think. I think he's going to have a lot of game time this season. Is he going to be the nailed-on starter for us? Not necessarily, but based on the preseason, Tomiyasu's hurt. Calafiori is dealing with something, and he hasn't really spent much time with the club. I think Zinchenko is going to be a player that we're going to see. And I think we're going to see him a lot, especially against the bottom half of the table, because that's nice, Glenn. But I genuinely think he's a player that is very different. He's a specialist in what he does, and I think he's definitely going to help us this season, especially against the bottom half of the league. And I think Zinchenko will play more than people think.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, you're.
Don't do that.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm biting my tongue. I'm biting my tongue.
I'm not saying he's like the best or he's going to be.
Yeah.
He's going to beat people out. I'm just saying he's going to play more than. I mean, it's mainly because of injuries, but
Right.
I do think he brings something to the team that nobody else brings. Whether you can't disagree with that. It's
I don't.
But yeah, I mean, that's just, again, people could take it as negative or positive. I think I do think he will do good things for us. Majority good things that,
I hope so. Moving on, let's get into some individual predictions. Let's start with the top goal contributor, meaning goals and assists. So just from that standpoint, who do we think will lead the team in goal contributions? Glenn, I'll start with you.
Easy, Odegaard. Next. Who's next?
Okay. James?
Yeah, it's between Odegaard and Saka, but I'm going to go for Odegaard.
Okay.
I'm gonna agree with Les Claypole from Primus. I'm gonna.
Real Ryan.
I'm going for Bukayo to put up some Sanchez numbers, man. I'm going 2016, 2017 Sanchez numbers. I mean, and I think now if the left side can cook a little bit more, we don't have to force everything to his side. And maybe that means, like we saw in the game, he had some headers, you know what I mean? Some service in there. So I think there's going to be some more changes for goals. And then we obviously know, he can pick a pass so he can get to the touchline. So yeah, I'm going Bukayo comfortably.
OG.
Yeah, I mean, it's Saka or Odegaard. I mean, you can crazy people can make a case for Kai maybe coming in third place for the bronze. But yeah, it's Saka or Odegaard for me. But I'm picking Saka. He's led goal contributions for the team for the last since he joined. I do think for us to succeed in the attack, I think Odegaard needs to score more. He needs to take more chances in shooting and scoring. I think he had 6 goals when he first joined us. I think he had 15, and now he dropped down to 8. I'm not saying I need him to get 15 goals, but I want to see him get more than 8 this season. So I think his uptick in contributions will go up. But I mean, betting against Saka, I think is, I don't want to say stupid, but when he's done it for us every single season, I don't know how I can't pick him.
I was doing a preview show last season, and one of the questions was top scorer in the Premier League, and I wanted to say Holland, but I said Rashford instead. I know, what a friggin' stupid answer. But, the point is sometimes it's obvious. That's all I'm saying.
Might be obvious, and I don't think none of these answers are crazy or off the reservation, but I'm going to give you one that might be a little off the reservation. And I'm going to kind of echo what the real Ryan said for a surprise. I'm going to give it to Gabby Jesus because I see something in him right now that I haven't really seen since the beginning of his first season here. I think he's healthy. I think there's a desire there in him all of a sudden that just I think he's going to do some pretty amazing things this year, and it's a bit out of I don't want to say left field or right field, but I think that I think Gabby Jesus is going to lead this team in goal contributions. Jackson, 3-point sniper.
Dude, I was just gonna. So funny.
And by the way, you can't just so everybody sees the form. I just want everybody to see the form.
Pretty good form,
baby. Balance, elbow, eyes, and follow through. It's pretty. It's so pretty. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, fellas? I've enjoyed listening so far. Some really valid points on everything. How are you doing, Glenn?
I'm fine, Mr. Sniper. How are you?
Mr. Sniper. That's great. Mr. Sniper to you.
I'm a part of your Facebook, Glenn. I enjoy the
content. I'm just trying to be polite because I'm high as balls right now. Go
boy, you don't say. Hey, I'm in the category of what will surprise you the least this season. Glenn being high as balls.
Hey, I'm up past my bedtime, man. I got another 15 minutes from the wife. You need to keep moving.
All right. Jackson, we'll get you in here. Top goal contributor for us since you're here on this one.
Yeah, I think it's Saka for me. 2 years ago, he had double-digit assists in the league. He fell a little bit short of that last year, but I think his chances created from what I looked at the other day were pretty much on par. So I think those numbers will be back up, and he should reach double digits in the Premier League in assists. And like all the points that you've mentioned, he's our do-it-all king, and he's been doing it for years. So I'm not going to
do-it-all king. I might have to get a shirt with that on it. I like that. The do-it-all king. I like that. Real quick, Jackson. You know what? I'll come back to you. We're going to continue to move on here, but I want to get your predictions for a few of the other things that we've already done. Along with goal contributions, let's go to top goal scorer this season. And Jackson, I will start with you since you're fresh meat.
I thought I was going to be coming to this show with like a little nugget, but you guys have already mentioned on it. I think this is going to be a huge year for Gabriel Jesus. I think the cup competitions are where he's really going to make his hay in regards to being our top goal scorer in all comps. As you remember last year in the Champions League before he went down, when the games are open in group play, he had 4 goals and 3 assists and 4 starts. Like, he was just an animal. And I think he's going to get a lot of run in the FA Cup as well, because I'm pretty sure that Arteta is going to stick with Havertz up top in the Premier League to start. And you never know, Jesus might take that over as well, but he'll certainly get his Premier League minutes no matter what. But I think Gabriel Jesus is really going to ball out in the cup comps, and it'll add to his talent. I think he'll end up being our leading goal scorer.
I should caveat this with, and thank you, Jackson, for that, in all comps, leading goal scorer in all comps this year. Glenn, I'll go to you next.
Leading goal scorer, you say?
Yes.
It has to be Saka, I would say. That's pretty easy. Next person.
Okay. He's really high, folks.
No, I'm trying to move it on.
Go. Keep going. You only got
I want to get to top 4. I want to get
all right. Real Ryan. You're muted.
And you're muted too.
Ryan, you're muted.
Still muted. Oh boy. Can you go through 3?
I mean, if I'm saying he's going to put a Sanchez number, then I mean it's kind of obvious where we're going with that.
Yeah,
it's Bukayo.
OG.
I think I don't think it's as easy as you guys are making it out to be. I think it's a toss.
I swear, if you say I have 10 people, I think will lead this team.
You can. No, I think it's definitely you can. I mean, you guys all made a case for two of the players that I have written down in Saka and Jesus. it's a great point by Jackson. Saka is, Jesus. He is going to score a lot of goals out of the Premier League because he just does. But like his finishing is just for some reason so bad in the Premier League. I just think he's not a finisher, and I think this season Arteta is going to kind of like make him not be that striker, be that finisher, and have him work in the wing more and do things maybe not as an Odegaard, but like as like a 10 as an attacking midfielder. So I think he'll fall just short. But the third person no one's mentioned, I'm just going to mention him because fuck it, is Kai Havertz. And I
love him.
I don't. So I've said this on multiple shows, and if TJ, if you're listening now, or if you listen later, smite me, hot Connor, smite me. But we need to upgrade on him. I think he's a type of player that we could find an upgrade on, and I think we could get a better player. But he's doing it for us now. He did it for us last season. He just finds ways to score goals. Like even in the preseason, like he just made the run, went to the right spot, and it just like hit off his shin pad, hit off his boot. He didn't have to do anything. I think he's just score a lot of goals that way, and he did that last season for us, where he just was in the right place, right time, went off his boot, hit up. When we scored against Bayer Leverkusen, it hit off Xhaka, went right to him, and went in, deflected in. I think he's just going to get a lot of goals that way. That's just because it is his fault that he's scoring goals. He does have the IQ, he does have the movement ability, but I just think whether you play him at striker or left 8, he's going to have those opportunities to score goals. The only reason why I like the Jesus pick is I think Jesus might play more games. I think Kai may play more minutes, but I think Jesus will come on for more games, start in the cup competitions. He'll definitely start in Champions League, where I think Kai is more of a Premier League player. So
I need 10 seconds. 1, I love the love for Jesus. I love him too. I hope all you guys' predictions are right about that. And 2, Ryan, you are not a good German. Doubting Havertz. You loved him, and now you speak badly about him.
I'm picking him. How am I doubting him?
Nicht gut. Nicht gut.
He just wanted to speak in German. Not even in German. He wanted to speak in a German accent.
I literally picked him to finish top goal scorer, Adolf.
Since OG is yelling at me to move things along,
he
just spoke for 5 minutes.
That was all off the cuff, MF.
My pick was also Kai Havertz, and James, I'll throw it to you.
Yeah, I'm going to be nice and quick for Glenn, so he's happy. It's Bukayo Saka. He plays the most minutes. He also takes penalties. It's obvious. It's going to be Saka.
Yeah, penalties.
Yeah. Where are we at here? What do we got next? Glenn, you have 2 minutes. I am going to give you the last 2 minutes to talk about your top 4 and your league champion.
Okay.
What about okay?
Top 4.
He's getting ready to. I'm giving it to him to.
Right. Yeah, but even when she texts me, I'm still going to listen until I hear footsteps. So anyway, as I said earlier. As I said earlier, I think between 4 and 8 is going to be a huge competition. But, as far as I'm concerned, I mulled on it. I wanted to give number 4 to Newcastle, but I went with Man United. Number 3, Liverpool. Number 2, City. And number 1, Arsenal. This is it, man. This is the season. This is it. If this is a movie, this is the season. So close. Come on, we're Rocky. We're something. And what was the other question? I forgot the other question.
I don't think they're really.
The question was who's going to be the champion, and you've just answered it. So
okay.
Yeah.
So now, my dudes, I'm listening, and as long as she lets me, go ahead.
So we're going to come back to this, but I wanted to get Glenn his moment to get the predictions.
Thank you.
Out there. Unsung hero. I guess you could tie that into a little bit with surprise, but this is definitely an individual. You all know who
Timber.
Okay. Glenn is saying
you're
in Timber.
Next.
Yeah. Is that your wife?
I changed her ringtone.
Wow, don't worry, be happy.
All right,
it was at one point the Imperial March.
Have a chance to speak?
No.
Yes, go ahead. I'm listening. You'll know when I'm gone.
Oh, trust me.
Okay, OG, you've got so much on your mind.
I don't. I'll go. No, I'll go quick. I mean, it's tough calling these players unsung. it's tough saying this player is an unsung hero because he did such a job for us last season, and he was such a big signing for us. But I think he's going to fall into the back a little bit because I think he's just going to do his job, and the defense is going to defense, and the attack is going to attack. Unsung hero is going to be Declan Rice. I just think he's going to do a little bit of everything and kind of just fade into the background a little bit. And like I said, let the other positions do what they got to do. Because let's face it, I think if we want to win the whole thing, we have to score more. So there will be a lot of more attacking threat, a lot of more goals and assists to be scattered across the attacking line, and that will kind of like not give. I think people will kind of lose. Rice will kind of lose its luster a little bit, but yeah. Give me Declan.
Jackson.
Yeah, I'm going with Daniel Shaw in the chat. It's Ben White for me, like it has been for the last 2 years. This guy just continuously is not getting the credit from pundits and some Arsenal fans, and basically, everyone across the league does not rate him as one of the top, right backs in the league. But all of the little things that he does for our team, and the way that he fights and shows up every single match, like there's never a game where you're watching and you're like, man, I wish I had more energy from Ben White. Like I wish he was given more. Like I never feel that way when I watch him play. And I think that, all the stuff that he does on set pieces, like you need that in a team, especially with one that has the size that we have, especially when we're bringing Calafiori and maybe Mikel Merino into the mix, who are two more really tall dudes. Like we're gonna have so many chances to score off, corners and set pieces and all the little things that he does to, agitate the keeper or, make it like a little bit of a pick play on another defender. He just does so many of those things that, attribute to winning football. And I just love him so much. I'm glad that he's ours.
I like the cut of his jib, Mr. Sniper. Do you have a YouTube channel, Mr. Sniper, while I have a pen in my hand?
I have a very small one. I'm planning on doing a little bit more this season, but
well, I like the cut of your.
He's ours, Glenn, not yours. He's ours.
What? I don't have a me, so fuck you. Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Real Ryan, unsung hero for me.
Yeah, so I mean, Ben White's been my pick for like years now. Love him so much. So, but what I'm gonna go with is I'm gonna go with my boy Leo Trossard. I mean, strictly because he's just a big game player, right? Like if you need a goal, that's where it's coming from more times than not. Right. Especially down the stretch last year, he scored at United, scored against Bayern, scored against Porto. It's just one of those guys that I think will just come in the clutch. And I think for me, that's what I always think about, just like an unsung here. Like, man, he really came in and did it. Almost like, like the sixth man off the bench that hits the you know what I mean? That starts the run, that hits the whatever, threes in basketball or, what have you. So I really think it's Leo, and I'm so glad we have him. And the thing is there's still going to be so much competition like on that side, right? Because obviously Martinelli's there, and we might even bring someone else in to man that left side. So it's someone that I think can do stuff and not a lot of time on the field as well. And I mean, it was awesome seeing what he did last year. So I think he'll run it back for us again.
Nice. James?
Yeah, I'm going to pick the same guy that I picked as my unsung hero for the season just gone. It's going to be David Raya.
And that's it. Mic drop.
Yeah, well, I still think he's disrespected. I think there's still too many that are way invested in Aaron Ramsdale and Aaron Ramsdale's PR to give this guy any credit. This guy's our number one now, and you look at what he did, and he come into the season, what was it, 4 or 5 games in? He's going to be in from the start. To me, it said everything that he ended his preseason earlier than Ramsdale ended his. Yet Aaron Ramsdale didn't play a single minute of the Euros, and David Raya did.
Mm-hmm.
Yet Ramsdale is still universally loved, and people are still unsure on David Raya, even though he won the Golden Glove last season as well. How you can be unsure of the guy who was literally the best goalkeeper in the league, it baffles me. But there you go. I know we had the conversation earlier about how certain fans of certain clubs are crazy. That's there is a nucleus in this Arsenal fan base that just still baffle me with this Raya Ramsdale thing when it's blatantly obvious. Every single metric proves that he's a better goalkeeper, yet they still refuse to believe it.
I didn't want to make the same pick I made last year. and I'm going to because you guys kind of, I mean, it's the same every year where you get the guys that just don't get a whole lot of love. For me, it's Big Gabby. I mean,
good. If he didn't get mentioned, I would have to go on like a 5-minute talk about it.
Well,
The
only reason I didn't want to say him is because I mean, like if
I thought you were
the
saying
same guy that we picked last year is cool. That's my guy. That's my pick.
Okay.
I mean,
OG, I think you made a good
Yeah.
point earlier about Zinchenko. I think Zinchenko could shock people this year. I think he's gonna. He could be like Havertz. I think he could be the Havertz of this season. In that he might not, he won't score as many goals or anything, but he might turn opinion around.
little honorable mention from LL
He's
Cool J.
definitely going to get those starts and minutes against the teams in the bottom half. I'm sure of that.
Yeah.
I agree with OG on that.
And also, if he plays like he played at the weekend, Thomas Partey will be another one as well.
Yeah, that was.
If
Mm-hmm.
he shows what he showed at the weekend, even though it was a terrible Lyon side,
Yeah.
I will go from volunteering to get this guy out of the club to wanting him to stay. Yeah, I will
offering him an
literally.
extension.
Not an extension, but if he can get the arc that we wanted for Granit Xhaka in his last season before he left, if Thomas Partey could leave with a title, I'd be like, well, do you know what? That's a job well done.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd love that.
The big Gabby thing, when you're the other half of the best center back pairing in the world, nobody talks about you, and to the still no one talks about it. And we are an absolutely worse side if he is not in the lineup. I can take Martinelli out and put Trossard in, or vice versa. There are certain players in this side that are to a degree interchangeable. You'll lose a little bit, sure. The number 9, be it Havertz, be it Jesus, whomever it might be. But you take Gabriel Magalhaes out of this side, you take William Saliba out of it, but you take Gabriel Magalhaes out of this side, you're dropping in quality exponentially. And the fact that he contributes goals like he did on Sunday, he'll contribute 3 or 4. I mean, 4 might be a bit ambitious. 2 or 3 is probably a very realistic number in goals for him. I mean, the guy just shows up, does his job, gives you emotion. He was all fired up on Sunday. That dude right now is probably my favorite player in this side. I will never own his shirt because the minute I do, he either gets hurt or they sell him. But he's absolutely my favorite player in this side. And if I'm going to give an honorable mention, because this was going to be the player that I was going to say if I was going to get a bag of shit about picking the same guy 2 years in a row. And I know he just got here, but there's something about Ricardo Calafiori. And it might partly be because of the man crush that I have on that Italian Adonis. But there's something there. And I think as far as and the headband and the locks, I mean, just stop it.
But BG, Saliba's our Rolls Royce and Big Gabby's our Ford Heavy Max F-250.
Yeah,
It's fire and ice over there with those two.
Fucking dually, man.
On somebody over.
Yeah, but if I had to give an honorable mention, I was going to say Calafiori because I think he has the ability to. If Tomiyasu can't stay healthy, Timber doesn't seem like he's going to be ready for big time minutes at the beginning of the season. I know Calafiori's got some sort of a knock, but nothing severe, nothing major. I think there's potential there that he could make the left back position his own for the entirety of the season, and I think he's going to play very well for us in the Champions League. I think there's something to be said for that as well. So, moving on, and I think that is just about it, except for the Player of the Year, Arsenal Player of the Year, and then we'll get into the order of our top 4 and our league champion.
William Saliba. Yeah. As much as the attacks win you games, defenses win you championships, and we ain't winning jack shit unless this guy's involved. So
Stop
yeah,
it!
I think
Stop it, James. You're starting to sound like you're an American.
I think William Saliba's the guy.
Player of the year, William
He
Saliba.
can piss through a Cheerio and not get it wet. That's how good he is.
Hey yo, I gotta start writing these down, man. These are
Yeah,
these
that
are
was good.
gold. These
That was
are
pretty
he could piss through a Cheerio and not get it wet. I'm using that tonight at work. I'm going to tell people I am so good at my job I could piss through a Cheerio and not James.
With that,
Take it, man. Take it.
Real Ryan, who you got? Player of the year.
Yeah, I only had 2 names written down, and it was Saliba and Saka. If I wasn't going to go first, it was going to be Saka. So I knew Saliba was going to get selected. So I'm going for him with the triple crown: most goals, most goal contributions, and play of the year. I think this is the year he takes the big step up. I'm really looking forward to it.
OG.
it's funny. To me, it was easy, and I picked neither of those two. I think if you take this player out of our 11, we're going to be in trouble. And I think
Odegaard.
James talked about how we're not going to win anything without Saliba. That might be true, but I'm confident. I'm comfortable. Who's backing up Saliba when we blew our chance 2 seasons ago? Rob Holding. Now who do we have? We have like Kivior, we have Calafiore, we have Tomiyasu, we have Timber, all players that have played center back in this preseason that I think could kind of, even Ben White, all these players can slot into center back, and like already I'm a lot better. We're a lot better off than Ben White. But if this player goes down, I don't know who his backup is, and it's Martin Odegaard. I think he's just the leaps. He was great for us when we had him on loan, but since we signed him, I just the things he does with the ball is just insane. The way he links play
every year.
Like I said, I also think we need to see more goals from him, and if we can get those goals from him, we're gonna do great things. I mean, it's funny enough, I don't even remember who my player of the season was last season. But I know Odegaard was either 1 or 2. I think it was either him or Rice. I think I said Rice, but like Odegaard was right there. So I think to me, you take Odegaard out of this lineup. I don't know what we do. Who's his backup? Is it Vieira? Is it Wanyeri? I would think, honestly, I would be curious to see maybe Jesus play a little bit, or even a Saka. But like, I don't know. Like, whereas we have the defensive depth to where, like, if you take Saliba out, I'm not saying I want to. Obviously, I don't want to. We can manage games, and I also think us being such a heavy possession team, that's what Arteta wants to do. That's where our system is built around. That our defense can kind of not say take off, but like we'll be choking down teams with our possession so much that our defense is kind of like, all right, like hang there for a little bit, we'll be fine. And like I said, with the depth that we have right now, they're all way better than Rob Holding, so I'm not too upset with that. But yeah, to me, Martin Odegaard is the beating heart of this team. He can't go down. It's just as simple as that. He can't get hurt.
Jackson?
That was my pick. It's Martin Odegaard. I think he's currently present day the best player on our team. I think Saka and Saliba are soon going to be passing him there, but I do currently think present day he is our best player, and he's our most meaningful player. Not only with how he distributes and orchestrates our offense, all the things that Ryan was saying, but he is also the orchestrator of the first line of defense in a Mikel Arteta team. He's the one that is constructing and organizing the press that we do. And he is a freaking animal running after people, chasing after people, making sure that he's got his wings coming up, make sure he's got his midfielders coming up. He organizes that press so well that a lot of the times we steal the ball back before they can even get down on the other side of the field. And I think that's honestly almost as crucial as his playmaking. So, yeah, he's going to be my player of the season.
Yeah, I don't really think there are too many options here, and I think we've each given our cases for very obvious choices. As much as I want to say I'm going to go something that's not someone that isn't obvious, it's not true. It is going to be Bukayo Saka, and I agree with Real Ryan on this, where I think this is the year he takes that massive step up. The last few years have been 1 or 2 steps up the staircase. This is the season where he's got 6 steps left to get to the top, and he just jumps them, and he puts himself in that upper echelon of players that are world class. He is must see. If you have to watch on TV's must see TV. He is going to be the most electrifying. I want to keep going with Rock stuff, but I got nothing. But it's going to be Bukayo Saka. I firmly believe that he will stop the debate, end the debate of whether or not he is a world-class player, because I saw a lot of that last year. Is Bukayo Saka world-class? That debate will be silenced by him this year. So, all right, Jackson, I am going to start with you here because we have already given our top 4 in no particular order. So give me your top 4 in no particular order. Kind of feel like 3 of them, as I said to these guys, I feel like we already know 3 of them, but lay it on us all 4.
You're gonna laugh so hard, but I actually agree with Glenn for my 4th spot. I think it's gonna be United.
Wow.
I really do.
Okay.
I
All right.
really do. I think we all saw it on full display in the Euros, but I think Kobe Manu being a mainstay in their 11 is going to be massive for them. And then also the signing that they finally got completed this morning, I believe, De Ligt. I think he's
yep.
center back. I really do. I rate him highly. And I think he's going to slot in. And I really do. He's going to slot in and help their defense a lot. And honestly, guys, I know that the results for them have not been there in the preseason. They've ran through a gauntlet. They really have. But I've actually taken time and watched a lot of these games, and they're just simply not allowing as many good opportunities. I know it's preseason. There's players going in and out, but it looks a lot different than it did last year. And I went and looked up the stats. They allowed 5.4 shots on target in the Premier League, like on average. And through these preseason games, they're only averaging 3. And in the Community Shield, they only allowed 1 shot on target from City. So I think they've got some pieces that they can mix together. And to a lot of the points that you guys made earlier, I don't think the rest of the group is that strong either. I think it's kind of a crapshoot, and I think that they have some pieces to where they could claim that 4th spot. And I think they do.
The one thing I really quickly want to say about De Ligt, 1, is he better than Harry Maguire? Yeah, okay, probably. Not much argument for me here. But 2, there's a reason why Juve and Bayern let him go. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, that's what I'm at too with him.
A great player.
But again, it's Man U, so like it's an upgrade. So like, fine. I guess your point is valid. He's definitely an upgrade to that City defense. I'll give you that. But I don't know if he's gonna. Is he an upgrade again in the top 4? I don't know. But again, going back to what you just said and what we said, it's a dumpster fire. Like it's just I don't know who's gonna come out on top. To be that,
I don't hate the false 9 approach that they did in the Community Shield either. I think that could suit them pretty well this year while they wait on Rasmus to come back. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna wrap this up with our league winner.
I want to know who Jackson wants to relegate. I want to see if.
Okay, yeah. Give me a bottom 3 for relegation, Jackson.
All right, obviously Leicester, because I think I read a couple of days they have a 12-point deduction coming their way. That's going to be too much for them to overcome. Also have Ipswich coming up and going down. And then my 3rd, I hate to do it, guys, but I'm teasing this for our show that's going to be coming up on Thursday. I've got a team that has not been said on this show today that you will have to join back on Thursday at 4 o'clock. And I have a litany of reasons why.
I feel like, man, I think I know who you're going to say.
I'm not spoiling it. They got to come and watch.
Yeah, I like that.
He literally said he's not going to say. All right.
Wait. Jackson, type it in the private chat so we can see it because I can't.
Oh.
I can't wait till Thursday. Type it in the private chat. All right. I think we got everybody. Else. Let's go to league winners. Real Ryan, I'm going to start with you.
It's Arsenal, baby.
I was like, wait a minute. What am I missing?
I mean, it just has to be. I want this group to win it. I mean, obviously as fans, we want to win it, but I really want this group to win it. I think these guys have just gone through a lot and running City so close and playing so well these last 2 years that I think third time's the charm, man. I think we're gonna get over the line. God, I hope. But I think we're ready. I feel like everyone's in a good spot. Everyone's peaking, hitting their prime at the right spot. I think we know how we want to play. There may be another signing coming in too. With how good our defense has been, and I feel like just what the attack can do. And we're talking about Saka and whatnot, and hopefully Martinelli coming back and Jesus coming back, strong and looking fit. Like this has to be it, man. That simple.
OG.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've always said that City are the better we've always been trying to catch them, trying to get on their level. And last season we did just that. We did really well. I think they're only getting worse. I think Tanner, you talked about how Arsenal are going to have a down season. I think they're going to have a down season. Down to them, not down as in they're going to finish fifth or sixth, but I think they're going to drop some points they shouldn't be dropping. They're getting rid of some players. And I mean, the big reason why I'm picking Arsenal to win, which I know not many people know this. I haven't told that many people, but I've known for a while, but I tore my ACL and both meniscus, and I'm getting surgery at the end of the month. So I need to come back at the end of the season and say I tore my ACL for Arsenal to win the Premier League. So that's like everything to me. I'm petrified to do the surgery, to do the rehab, to all that. It's gonna blow. But at least I could say like, hey, I tore it for the Arsenal. They're gonna win the Premier League, and you know what? I tore both meniscus too, so maybe a Champions League or another trophy would be nice too. I'm just saying. I'm doing what I can for the club, doing what I can for the fans. So yeah, I genuinely think this is I know. I genuinely think this is Arsenal's time. I think City they're on their downward, and I think this is our chance where we could really get them.
James.
Yeah, I know you've enjoyed my quotes over the last couple of weeks. If I could quote a great man, Michael Butler, it's time. So, yeah, like Ryan did, it's time. It's time.
Jackson?
Yeah. There's nothing left to say. I mean, it like James said, it's our time. It just is. And honestly, guys, I think that we are going to see Liverpool fight a little bit harder than they did last year. I don't think they're going to fall off from the race. Remember, for a while they were in it. It was like a 3-team thing for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I think they might go the distance, like challenging us in City this upcoming season.
I think they were 7 points ahead at one stage.
Yeah, because I do think that this is probably Alisson's last year at the club, maybe Virgil van Dijk's last year at the club. Salah's always flirting with, going to the Saudi League. It could be his last year. Trent, Real Madrid admire Trent, and I don't think he's really enjoying his time there as much as he used to. So I think it could be like one last hurrah for them. So
the one thing I will say really quick about Liverpool was when me and BG saw them in Philadelphia for preseason, the one thing I took away from that entire game, like from getting into the stadium and getting out, these Liverpool fans love Arne Slot. They are like enamored with him. They think he's the greatest thing. They were chanting his name. They weren't even chanting the players' names. They were chanting his name for like the entire game. It was very bizarre. They were chanting his name when we were walking to our seats. They were chanting his name after the game ended.
I thought they were calling him a slut.
Yeah, but it was very bizarre. It was very bizarre behavior from a manager that like you haven't really had yet. So it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be very interesting to see how they fare in the league, because I do agree with everything, all the points that Jackson made. But yeah, they seem to really love this manager, so we'll see.
Jackson, you started by saying there's nothing really left to say. I disagree. There is one thing left to say. And while we are breaking out quotes, I am going to quote one of the greatest catchers in Major League Baseball history. His name is Jake Taylor. He's played by Tom Berenger in the movie Major League.
It is a movie quote. Yeah.
It is a movie quote.
Shocker.
I guess there is only one thing left to do at this point. Win the whole fucking thing.
So are you picking us or I'm confused. Did you pick us or what? Are we gonna win?
I want to go Pat McAfee in the SEC championship so bad right now. It's time. This is it. I wanted to say that it's Man City's to lose. They're going to win until someone goes and takes it from them. I do kind of feel like that. I'm about 52% on Arsenal, 48% on City, because until someone beats them, whether it be us, Liverpool, or the league, I'm not totally convinced that Manchester City are not just buying the fucking trophy. I mean it. Conspiracy theories abound. I mean it when I tell you there is a part of me that thinks when the league come in and say, open your books. Well, you didn't specify which book, so here's our checkbook. And we'll tear one out for you, sign it, you just fill in the amount, and all of this goes away. And we just continue down the path of business as usual. But I agree with OG, and I think they fall off a little bit this year. I think everybody, as I said earlier, will regress a little bit in terms of accumulated points. But I think something happens with them where I don't know that they don't finish third in the league. I think Liverpool could try to do something that will shock the world. I don't think us winning the league would shock anybody. I think Liverpool could pull off a stunner and finish second above City. But it's our time, gentlemen. And I do hope that in about 10 months' time we can reconvene this panel. Same bat time, same bat channel. And I don't know what you guys are laughing about. There's a flurry of activity in the private chat. I'm almost convinced they're talking about my genitalia. Well, they might not be. That's probably giving.
I'm just as confused as you. I don't get the references. That's why I've stayed a long way out of this.
Okay, I don't know what's being said. But anyway, yeah, it's Arsenal for me. And God,
whoever Trey Young is, I feel sorry for him.
Oh my God, really? Oh Jesus. Oh,
I don't know who this guy. He must be a real.
He's an NBA player, and in a quick scan,
not Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer did not start this. That is Trey Young.
That's true. That's true. Lacazette did.
Lacazette started that. Trey Young didn't start that shit.
I started that in school when I didn't take a coat. That's when I
started. Yeah. Didn't we all? Didn't we?
Yeah.
Somebody 100 years ago started that. Anyway, that's it, folks. I hope you guys wrote everything down because I sure didn't. That's the preview show. Hopefully all of these things come true. Well, they can't all come true because we picked different things, but yeah, we'll go quickly rapid fire around the horn here. OG, final word before, because this is other than our show, which we'll tease here in a minute. Well, let's tease it now, boys, shall we? Jackson, you want to run point on this for us?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, since he fucking loves Trey Young, you could be the point guard. Let's go. Go for it, buddy.
All right, guys. Yeah, so coming up this Thursday in a few days at 4 p.m., we're going to be starting our weekly EPL bet show. It's called EPL Pitch Picks, and it's going to be a fun and interactive show. We're going to have the chat involved. You guys are going to be collaborating and making a pick every single week, and you're going to be competing against us. We're going to go deep dive into games, provide our picks and picks of the week and a bunch of fun stuff like that. But like I said, it's supposed to be interactive and fun, and hopefully you guys join in and we make you laugh along the way with hopefully making some money.
Or laugh along the way if one of us is not making us money and just missing every pick. And I'm not going to point any fingers, but somebody has got crazy picks already. So I'm excited to do this. I'm excited to talk to the audience and get kind of their feel on things, and also go to Twitter, go to social media, and engage with people more, because we're going to be a little more analytical. We're going to be throwing stats out there. Well, some of us, I know some of my picks might just be because, but it's definitely going to be a fun time, and I'm excited to make some money in the process.
They roped me into this. I don't really do a whole lot of sports betting. Most of what I do is a bit off the cuff. The crazy picks are probably mine. We were talking about it last night. But you know what? Hopefully it's fun. We have a good time. I will make fun of these guys for having a lot more money than I have, that they can piss away and burn through. No, I'm kidding. It will be Thursdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. Every Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, except for the first show this Thursday, which will be at 3 p.m., simply because we're going to have a bit more content going into it. So we're going to spend a little bit more time. We're going to spend a little bit more time on this one because we'll have some futures picks for you. We'll talk about the show a little bit, talk about ourselves a little bit for the new crowd that is going to come in and watch this. So we do hope that you will check this out. It's a bit of a foray into uncharted waters, at least for me anyway. But it should be fun, and I will get made fun of a lot, and I'm all right with that. I have very thick skin, and at the end of the day, nobody makes fun of me better than me. Let's get into final thoughts. OG, I'm going to start with you. We'll go around the horn.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the season to finally kick off, even though it's like the shortest wait time between any major sport, especially here in the States. I know. I'm just excited to watch meaningful Arsenal games, and I'm excited to see what the plan is this season. I feel like Arteta kind of steps it up a notch. He kind of evolves us in some kind of way, and I'm very interested to see how he's going to do it this season, especially with the depth we have, especially at defense. And I would like to see us bring in another signing. I don't know if it's going to be what James saying. I don't know if it's going to be another attacker or a potential, left eight like we are with Marino, because that's kind of been quiet. But I do think we might get that over the line. But yeah, I'm just overall excited. I'm excited to go on this journey with you guys, with the fans. While I'm rehabbing, at least I have the Arsenal.
Real Ryan.
I mean, I feel like I say this every year, and it's going to be, a hell of a year because we have a great team, but I just want everyone to enjoy it. It's fun being good, but I know at the same time, like, so much is expected. We want to win every game, and, every missed chance we're going to be, ripping our hair out, but let's just try to enjoy this awesome team that we have. And I think when it's all said and done, we'll get what we want. So that's what I'm leaving with.
James.
Yeah, no, echo the same as you. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. Enjoy the journey. Keep doing what you're doing. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to these guys and continue supporting all the hard work they're doing. And if people are going Saturday, get there early, because there's going to be the honor and the tribute to Super Kev. So don't miss out on that one. And hopefully that gets shown. Hopefully we can see that on the TV coverage potentially, as well as, people that are actually there in the stadium. Because if there's someone that definitely deserves honor, and it's that guy, 100%. And then also tomorrow night, Gooner versus Cancer with Mike. So if people are interested in that, get a hold on that as well, because that's another worthy cause and another worthy guy to support as well. So yeah, that's all from me. But yeah, no, thanks again, you guys.
For sure.
James,
well,
I appreciate everything you said, but I mean, dude, everyone has to subscribe to your channel at James Johnson Football. It's fun. They did a prediction show yesterday, and they predicted literally all 20 positions, and they did a lot of more stuff too. The 20 position I think is crazy. It's bold, but I love it. It's just fun because you're kind of touching it. You're touching everything. You're kind of talking about little things here and there that
thank you, man.
But yes, please, everyone needs to subscribe to James and follow him on social media as well. A little cool James. I think he made that up himself. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've never heard that before, ever. It's very clever, by the way. Love it. Jackson, final thought.
Yeah, what everybody else has said so far, I'm excited. Like they also said, I think we should enjoy this. We have a really, really awesome squad. A lot of potential to keep growing and getting better. Also, we're not going to be going away anytime soon. So just enjoy these core years with this group while you can, because they're honestly they're fun to pull for. We have a lot of really great dudes on the team. We don't have very many divas at all, if we even have any. It's just a great group of guys. And also, I'm just really excited for this opener. I don't think it could have been a better draw for us. We've absolutely thrashed Wolves these last few years once we got our uptick in form. And I think it's going to be a great day at the Emirates, and hopefully we score a couple and keep a clean sheet.
Yeah. My thanks, of course, to these guys as always, and Glenn, who had to duck out around 4:15. Big thanks to him. Canterbury Gooner, Daniel Shaw, Alex, Demon King, Russ Morgan was out there as well. Bronx Gunner, always a pleasure having you guys in the chat. Thank you all very much. TJ Warren from TJ Warren TV. Go check him out in his show, The American Idiots. It's a fantastic show on YouTube. Make sure you're checking him out. Oregon Goon Dow, thanks for being in there. Ryan Youngblood Gooner in Detroit was in there as well. Some dude named Ars Bros Ryan said something about Larry Fitz. I don't know what that's all about. Hopefully we won't see him too much.
Are you serious?
Again.
Larry Fitzgerald, one of the best receivers of all time.
Yeah.
No,
Come on.
number 11, baby.
Are you
Come on.
done?
Pitt.
Are you done?
You asked who Larry Fitzgerald was. I'm telling you.
I'm kidding. Oh my God.
I honestly don't think you were kidding. I don't. But
Ryan, we're number 11.
yours.
Played for the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh,
Went
here
to
we
the
go.
University of
All right.
Pittsburgh.
you sound like Glenn now. Come
Long
on now.
Trent.
Next.
Oh my God. Ryan, I know more about football than you have forgotten. Or you have forgotten more about football than I
would like to softly disagree.
I don't know how that's supposed to go, but whatever. You know what
softly
I mean.
disagree.
Anytime, buddy. Anytime. That's something we ought to do. Well, let's put it to the test. We'll have a little bit of trivia going. We'll see who's better at it. But no, seriously, thank you guys. A lot of fun as always. We will be reconvening Thursday for the EPL Pitch Picks. We'll be back next week with a recap of the first week that was for Arsenal and in the league itself. There may also be a post-game show on Saturday. We're kicking that idea around, so stay tuned. Make sure you are liking the show. Drop a thumbs up there for us. Subscribe if you have not already. Tell a friend, tell a family member, tell a coworker, anybody that has access to YouTube. Get them to subscribe to the channel as well, and make sure you click the little bell icon. You'll never miss a show. If we do the post-game on Saturday, you'll know we're live. Big up to the chat. Thank you guys all very much. Let's just get into the season. It's here. It's upon us. We're looking forward to it. It hopefully brings us everything that we want and more, and we can reconvene in about 10 months' time, and we can have ourselves a nice, big, stone-cold Steve Austin toast and celebration. It's been good footy talk. We'll see you out there.